when we speak about hull insurance, the physical damage to the boat, what is typically covered? I would imagine engine electronics, other equipment, and you made a comment earlier about if you do upgrades, you should report those to have proper coverage in case of loss.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, depending on the insurance company, it's always important to check your policy or ask your broker. But, usually everything is covered. That's the baseline the carriers start with. Everything's covered, but here's what we won't cover, or here's how we will adjust a claim. The one thing that I would point out is usually never covered is mechanical breakdown. Very rarely on a yacht policy. What that means is if you're going along and the engine just, I don't know, you blow up the cylinder or something, and the insurance company will not usually cover that. Similar to if you started your car one day and it wouldn't start and now you want a new car, it's just not going to work like that. If you were going along and you hit something and it caused the engine to be damaged, you would be covered. What a lot of policies will do in the event, usually it's on boats older than 5 years, the policy will sometimes include a depreciation schedule. And this is really important, which will say, yes, in an agreed value policy, in a total loss claim, you're going to get the full amount. But in a partial loss claim, so we'll use the scary one, which is the lightning strike. In a partial loss claim on your $500,000 boat, the boat gets struck by lightning, and let's say it's a 10-year-old boat, right? The insurance company will usually go and they will look at the age of each damaged component. So use a chart plotter, for example, and they'll say, as per the depreciation schedule, we reduce our payments for electronics by 10% per year. Okay, we see this chart plotter is 5 years old. So you're going to get half the value of what a new chart plotter would be. Or you can use that, each component has its own depreciation schedule, which is within the policy. So you can read it and kind of understand it. And it's not based on the age of the boat, it's based on the age of the component. And so in a partial loss claim on a older boat, you won't be made fully whole, right? On a newer boat, you will be. Or if you have replaced all components recently, you will be. But a lot of carriers will reduce the payment just because, someone could have a $100,000 claim and end up getting $300,000 of new gear on it. And unfortunately, boat insurance policies on older boats, I'd say older than 5 or 6 years, are just not really intended to replace everything with new. It's just the only way these carriers can continue to stay in business. And so that's an important thing to read in your policy is your depreciation schedule.
To be frank, I mean, who will actually read the entire policy from start to end? I think that just helps us zero in on certain parts of that document and verify for ourselves, okay, what is my coverage today? And like you said, there may not be a lot of ways around this one, but it's super important to know. If the depreciation schedule of your electronics is 5 years and now your boat is 6 years old, you're going to not be made whole by lightning strike hitting the boat because your replacement cost, likely you would buy new electronics and that won't buy you new electronics. Did I translate this
Yes,
correctly?
that's correct. And what I would say is just talk to your broker, read the policy, but also ask questions. And a good broker will help you understand that. And yacht insurance policies are just notoriously, um, you never win when you have a claim. You never. It's not like a homeowner's policy where, wow, they brought me a whole new kitchen. This is way a big upgrade. You will always feel slightly out of
Mhm.
pocket because of the nature of the risk. I mean, we have these boats that are just constantly getting damaged. It's not like a house where you burns down once in a while. I mean, these boats, every time you go in and out of the marina, you're an inch away from a potential small little accident.